Hi, my name is Eric Gallagher, and I am the Chief Technology and Marketing Officer over here at Paramont EO and Crest Lighting. And as far as cloud services go, I knew nothing about them until I had to know everything about them, basically. So I stepped into a role in which we were integrating two separate businesses into a single one. And as you can imagine, there was completely disparate technology, a lot of end-of-life technology, and a need to keep our doors open and at the same time merge together all of these disparate systems across 7 different branches. And so I turned to cloud services for a lot of those. Email was one of the first things that we ended up moving into the cloud because we were hosting an Exchange server on premises and it died. So instead of merging the two separate company systems we had been using into a single new one, I went ahead and just moved everything over to the cloud into a hosted environment, and it was really easy. A couple of the different things that you're responsible for when you own and operate and maintain your own equipment, obviously it's maintaining the health of the equipment, which includes everything from the power supply to the memory and file storage on it, as well as the current releases. The beauty of having things in the cloud is that's no longer your problem, that's the host's problem to resolve any kinds of conflicts, and also to stay on top of those updates, to do them at a time when it's not inconvenient to you and your users. They also have a whole staff of experts, typically, depending on the size of the cloud service provider, of course, but as opposed to our limited IT resources that we have available to us, moving to the cloud definitely changes the dynamic and the character of the IT team locally in that, so for instance, if your ERP system is something you host locally, moving some other elements into the cloud frees up your IT staff's time to really get in there and customize and make your ERP system run as smoothly as you would want it to. It also allows you to, when you're hiring, to look for people who have subject matter expertise in those specific areas that you're looking to continue to control for your domain. Whereas in the past, you might have needed to hire somebody with general IT experience. You're free to hire people who have a little bit more specific knowledge sets that would help you be a little bit more competitive in your space. It's pretty amazing today that the degree to which providers are offering to host solutions in the cloud. So, it literally could come down to having your local area network, your internet pipe, whatever that might be. It might be a fiber connection, it might be a data circuit. You're always going to need at least that. One of the trade-offs that you make when you put your solution in the cloud is, in many cases, not all, but the degree of customization that you're able to obtain on any particular application that you use on a regular basis. So for instance, your ERP system, which you might have a lot of customization of, you put it in the cloud and now you're somewhat at the mercy of whoever's hosting it to make any modifications to that software. And so where data is stored in the various scenarios really, again, somewhat depends on the application and your own preferences. So in the case of client-server type applications, you may have the option to store some pieces of the data locally on the device or on your PC, or you may choose to keep it all in the cloud. And then in other applications, you may not have that choice at all, and it may all just be, typically data is collected and stored where the server resides. And there's good and bad about that. The likelihood that that data will be backed up and be able to be restored in quick order when it's in a hosted professional environment is, in a lot of cases, better than what a small to medium-sized distributor typically would be able to do for themselves. However, if you lose your internet connection, then your data may not have even been lost, but you've lost access to it. So I guess the importance of your data connection becomes much greater the more you put into the cloud. So now you want to look at redundant pipes and fiber versus sharing a Comcast connection with a million other people. So typically when you commission data service for a site, you typically try to think about what is the most bandwidth you would possibly need to use at any one given point in time. Typically in-house solutions are scaled for peak demand and often underutilized. Alternatively, in a cloud environment, so they have a more steady traffic, and they are able to burst and basically adjust the amount of bandwidth they're allocating or the amount of service they're providing based on the user's need. So financial impact or trade-offs of moving to the cloud versus staying with traditional IT. Number one, we talked a little bit about manpower. In terms of the cost of the solutions, obviously you don't have the capital expenditure of buying new servers, which can be tens of thousands of dollars. But you're going to start paying a monthly service fee in most cases for your hosted solution. So you have to look at what would the lifetime cost. If a server is going to last you 5 years, what's 5 years of hosted service going to cost you, and decide, if it's a good investment. So advice for the executives in considering whether or not to move to cloud-based solutions. I guess the first thing is talk to your IT department, see what applications or services they feel are most critical for them to own and continue to operate in-house. But it also should come a little bit from the senior level strategic plans for the companies, looking at innovations and new capabilities that you could achieve through using cloud-based services can help you achieve those sales goals or those strategic initiatives faster than maybe trying to develop your own in-house expertise and ability to bring in new technologies. Well, you can go to the NAED website and you can download the Technology Strategy Committee's recent executive white paper. It's guide number 17. And I think you'll get a little guide to show you how to get there.